Congress party has gotten itself into yet another trouble after overseas head of the party, Mr. Sam Pitroda, made a remark on inheritance tax that sparked a new row of controversy in an already heated political arena of the Lok Sabha elections. Prime Minister Modi escalated his attack on the Congress after Sam Pitroda's comments. He told people that Congress is eyeing your generational wealth. Soon after PM's attack, Congress distanced itself from Sam Pitroda's comments. Meanwhile, we have with us Mr. Ashok Kumar Lahiri, an Indian economist and a member of the West Bengal Legislative Assembly from Balurghat of the BJP, has joined us on the telecast. He's currently serving as a member of the 15th Finance Commission. Mr. Lahiri previously served as the 12th Chief Economic Advisor to the Government of India at the Delhi School of Reader at the Delhi School of Economics, Chairman of the Bandhan Bank, Executive Director at the Asian Development Bank, and Director of the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy, and has had stints with the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund as well as a consultant and a senior economist, respectively. Sir, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. First up, a warm welcome. And what do you make of the statement that was made by Mr. Pitroda concerning inheritance tax? Now, this is not a concept that Indians are familiar with. It is a concept which is alien to a large part of the world as well. Why would something like be said by someone who calls himself, a political advisor? This is a classic case of the apple falling very far from the tree.
Thank you for calling me and asking me to join this debate. One thing that we must understand, that all of us agree that income inequality or wealth inequality is a problem that we need to curb. What we do not agree on is how to do it. And what Mr. Pitroda has done, I don't cast any aspersion on his intentions. But what he is reviving is an old debate which I thought had come to an end about 50 years ago. Why do I say this? See, all of us agree that we should create equality of opportunities, for example, in education and health, for all children, irrespective of where and to which parents they are born. But putting high taxes on income, wealth, and inheritance is a highly debatable issue. We seem to disregard what we already know from experience, and we revive old debates from 50 years ago, which I thought we had already settled. Take, for example, Mrs. Indira Gandhi's Congress 50 years ago. They had an confiscatory income tax, 97.5%. All of us thought that we have abolished inequality. No. The high taxes did not produce the required results. And Mrs. Gandhi had to go back and reduce the rates. Same, we had wealth tax, we had estate duty, we had a tax on capital, and we changed it. For example, look at the estate duty. Now, we had estate duty which always failed to produce the estimates, budgeted estimates. For instance, the government had budgeted for 25 lakh as estate duty revenue in the first year of its implementation in 54-55, which was later revised down to 8 lakhs. Then every year, which we found that wealth duty or estate duty is not producing the result. And collection of these duties were costing us more than what the duties were producing. There was a wealth tax before death and estate duty after death. Who abolished it? In 1985-86, under Mr. Rajiv Gandhi and Finance Minister V.P. Singh. And there was procedural harassment of taxpayers. So estate duty and wealth tax are well tried and failed. And what do you do when you find that your intentions are very good, but it's not working? So, Mr. Jaitley had a solution. Arun Jaitley in 2015-16, he said no wealth tax, but he will replace it with an additional surcharge of 2% on the super rich, with a taxable income of over rupees 1 crore. Now, gift tax was abolished in 1998. So we have tried it all. The Mr. Chidambaram, in July 2004, he changed the gift tax. He said from unrelated person above the threshold of 25,000. So take such a simple solution, that inheritance tax. What happens if I give my money to my wards or my children before I die? So you must do something about gift tax. When you do gift tax, what happens if I spend it? So the whole question has to be looked at not as a political issue, but as a practical issue of importance. And if you have this inheritance tax, you spend a lot of money trying to collect it, and at the end of the day, you find that you're producing nothing. So all I'll say to Mr. Pitroda and his proposal is that intentions, hats off to your good intentions, but unfortunately it will not work.
And so, of course, the explanation you gave is quite prudent. It's quite relevant at this point in time. The bigger question also arises that in a country like India, which is marred with inequalities, should, a political party be even proposing something like this? Because if there has to be any kind of equality, it has to come through work, it has to come through reforms, it has to come through creation of wealth, which is obviously directly tied up to the economic steps that a government would take, correct?
Right.
Then why politicize something like this? What do you think was the aim behind this? Was it aimed at a certain class of people so that they would vote for the Congress party?
See, there will always be bleeding hearts and who will say good things. Do this, do that. And it will always get cheap popularity. But when it comes to implementation, there are serious issues. Let me tell you another thing. Okay. Now, you are rich, I'm poor. You are making money, but you're not spending it. You're not spending it on a holiday in Switzerland, or you're not spending it on buying a rich car, a very expensive car. You're investing it in a factory and producing or encouraging or promoting employment. So what many people say is what you tax is consumption, not income. You can take an extreme position and even say that if a man is earning a lot of money, but not spending it on consumption, but putting it in investment, creating wealth, creating job opportunities, why should you tax it? Just because his net wealth is so much. But how do you care whether he has earned the money and saved it and invested it, or I have earned the money, saved it and invested it? So many people even say that you must discourage conspicuous consumption, you must tax expenditure on conspicuous items at high rates. But don't worry, if someone is making a lot of money and recycling it into factories and production facilities, what is the problem? Except for that I might feel bad, I might feel jealous. I continue to hold the view that what is more problematic in India is poverty rather than inequality.
So, do you also think that, such a talk is regressive in nature? It reeks of concepts which, don't belong in this modern day and age. The last I heard somebody talking about the redistribution of wealth was perhaps Karl Marx or Lenin. And even their ideologies have been thrown out of the window.
No, you see, there has been a lot of talk about inequality. It's true that inequality is increasing, and it's a worry. I mean, if you ask me, would I be happier with less inequality than more? I'd say, of course. And what is the name of that gentleman who wrote that book, which is very famous? I'll tell you just now. It will come back to me. And all over the world, it's increasing. But I think the answer to that question, again, a more immediate problem and a problem that we must handle in very effective terms is how to create equality of opportunities. Equality of opportunity is much more important than equality of outcome. No two human beings are equal. You and I may start from the same position with all the same facilities, but you might become an Olympian marathon runner. I may not. But what is very important is, did I get a chance as you did in practicing sprinting? So that is more important than. So I am more worried about the Piketty. Piketty is the name. You know Piketty's book on income inequality, and where he shows that all over the world inequality is increasing. Now, so inequality, there is no denying the fact that if we could, we would like to reduce inequality. But the problem is that we haven't found an answer to that question, except for the fact, I regret the fact that some of these boys and little boys and girls whom I see in West Bengal villages and so on, they're not getting even, I mean, I studied in a government school all through, but government schools are not functioning properly. The primary health centers are not functioning properly. So what is more important is the equality of opportunities, not equality of outcomes. I don't think you'll ever find equality of outcomes, will you? I doubt it very much.
I agree with you, sir.
This is not a debate. I mean, I don't think you can sort of hold Mr. Pitroda guilty of his intentions. His intentions are very good, but I think he has not paid enough attention to our experience in the last 75 years of our independence, where we have tried it all.
Absolutely, sir. Mr. Zahidi, appreciate you taking out the time, sir, and speaking with us. It was a pleasure as well as very insightful, getting these pointers from you and putting them into perspective as well. Appreciate, sir.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.